And now let's turn our attention to Africa, to East Africa this time. Our story tonight comes from Ethiopia. It is Africa's second most populous nation. It has declared a state of emergency. Violent clashes have erupted in the country again. Until 9 months ago, they had a civil war going. That was in the Tigray region. Now the neighboring Amhara region is on fire. Clashes have been seen for months now. Things are steadily getting worse.
The attackers said to me, "We left our houses both to kill and to die. I'm from the jungle, so I have all the right to do whatever I want. I can even kill you." He raised his gun to me and threatened to kill me. I said okay to his demands. He also asked me for money and I said okay. Then he told me he was interested in me. I said, "Please do anything you want." And then he raped me.
When I confirmed my child's death, I felt so alone. I felt bereft of my future. And also, I thought about his 2 children growing up without a father. I hate to live without him.
Segai, why are you killing me? My husband kept calling as he lay on the ground. It was Segai who gave him the final blow.
As we came here, there were a lot of dead bodies along the way. We have seen the dead bodies of the Ethiopian Defense Forces and also of civilians who were killed accidentally. The Ethiopian and Amhara forces thought they killed them, but killed one another. We have seen so much suffering on the way here, even as we entered the Bach after completing the Lemalino route.
Those who died are already dead. Even those of us who survived are also dead, even if our bodies are alive, because we don't know who is alive or who is dead. First of all, there is misery from hunger. There's nothing to eat. Even if they escape the war, the people will die of hunger. There is nothing. Everything is closed. No markets, nothing.
Ethiopia's Amhara region reportedly continues to witness fierce fighting between federal troops and local militias. More than 3,000 people have been displaced, homes and shops looted and burnt, and crops destroyed, according to the Ethiopia Human Rights Commission. The violence was triggered by a government decision in April to dismantle and integrate regional forces. This was resisted by Amhara leaders, and the Fano militia refused to hand over its weapons.
We have seen all kinds of violations like extrajudicial killings, gender-based violence, rape, massive rapes, arbitrary detention, and of course torture, ill-treatment.
The Tigray War in Ethiopia began on November 3, 2020 and lasted until November 2022. The war was fought between the Ethiopian federal government and Eritrea on one side, and the Tigrayan forces on the other. The conflict was a result of years of tensions and hostilities between the two sides. The war was one of the deadliest in recent world history, resulting in the deaths of thousands of people and the internal displacement of millions of Ethiopians. It also drew international attention for alleged war crimes, human rights abuses, and ethnic cleansing in Tigray. On November 2, 2022, the African Union announced a peace agreement between the two sides, which included a ceasefire and the restoration of constitutional order. The war formally ended in November 2022, and Tigray was left in ruins, with its capital turned over to the federal government. Less than a year after war ended in Tigray, Ethiopia's northernmost region, another conflict has erupted in Amhara, which lies to the immediate south and is much more populous. The fighting in Amhara, while not as bloody as that in Tigray, is deadly serious. The insurgents are contesting federal control in much of the region, posing a challenge to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government and Ethiopia's stability. In August, they briefly captured major towns and, after federal troops beat them back, entrenched themselves in rural areas from which they can still raid urban centers. The state of emergency has declared in the Amhara region has also further exacerbated insecurity with mass arrests, extrajudicial killings, internet blockages, and disruptions to basic services being the order of the day. As the conflict escalates, several local and international actors, including the United States, have expressed concern and called for peace. The human rights situation in Ethiopia remained precarious, with government security forces, militias, and non-state armed groups responsible for systematic abuses, with impunity remaining the norm. The external states such as the United Nations have condemned and asked for de-escalation. but the utter shamelessness is from the Arab nations. The victims who fled to save their lives from the conflict were kicked and killed. For example, Saudi Arabian border guards have killed hundreds of Ethiopian migrants, including women and children, who attempted to enter the kingdom along its mountainous border with Yemen. The Ethiopian situation is on the verge. The world needs to open up their eyes and see the plight for the peace in Ethiopia.